Welcome everyone to our call. We have people from all over the world. I'm really grateful, even though it's lockdown for our friends in Australia. You're still taking the opportunity to join me, and actually, it works out, okay, that we have this chance to talk about this important topic. So this is a topic that comes up a lot when I do energy balancing sessions on people. And I feel like it's really important for people to address this and know exactly how to fix it. Okay. So tonight I would like you to participate. So if you can locate your thumbs up, emoji, or hands up emoji. So if you agree with me or if you relate, you can hit that emoji so I can see how many people it's helping. Okay, yay, thank you, you got it. Otherwise, if you don't know where it is, you can just put a thumbs up on your video. So the topic is how to get rid of shame for good. All right, so let's start. So I'm going to cover our number one goal so that everybody understands why we do what we do. Okay, and then we'll talk about the feelings and how it affects our emotions and our spirituality, how it affects our body, okay, and how we can fix it. So that's what we do. And everybody has a degree of shame, but when we recognize it, we can get rid of it, okay, and feel very liberated. And it's not very difficult. We just have to be aware of it. So in all we do in our classes, this is a wellness class that we have every week, okay, exactly the same time. So I'm going to keep the time 8 p.m. Central US. So even if it changes with the daylight savings where you are, okay, just save that time and you'll be here on the right channel, okay? So we have other classes on other days, and the set time is going to be the Australian time. But for now, just for your information, this call is always going to be on this time. So we'll have information about health, information about energy balancing and wellness. Okay, so this is the time for that. So you can always rely on this time. The goal that we all want is to be self-aware and awakened. And that's the whole idea of our community. Yeah. So everybody here as part of this community, we want to help each other awaken to what we're feeling, what we're believing. And so I'm going to just, clarify. So when we are awakened, it means that we know what we're feeling, we know what our thoughts are, we know what our beliefs are. Okay, because sometimes people just react and live life, and we don't want that. We want to have more clarity. We are awakened to our own divine identity, just remembering who you are, okay, and to your power to choose to create our life. Okay, sometimes we're so passive, we're not even aware of that. Okay, so when you awaken, you will see yourself as God sees you, with love and acceptance. Okay, so when you awaken, you can choose to stop blaming and stop benefiting from being a victim. And we don't even know that we do that. Okay, so this is an opportunity for all of us to help each other awaken in that way, so we become victors. So when we're awakened, we become spiritually mature and we respond with divine wisdom, okay, to all the situations, and we'll be right. So being awakened means we humbly allow ourselves to be divinely guided by God every day, right? And that's great, right? We all want to have that guidance. So when we're awakened, we feel empowered, we feel fulfilled, and we have that spiritual growth. And that's really important. That will help us all be happy. Being awakened helps us feel like we can create powerfully as victors, and we allow our influence to expand. So it's not just I feel better, I heal. You awaken to, hey, I can help the world. All right, how does that sound, guys? Thumbs up. Is that what you want as well? If it's what you want, then you're in the right place. Okay, that's what we want to do. here as a community. Okay, and so together we can intentionally live a sweet and focused and simple and fulfilled, purposeful life, okay, regardless of what's happening. So, you know what? Yeah, we know it's some things in the world, it's kind of crazy right now, but I don't know about you, but I still feel this underlining peace. Right? There's some peace and there's hope that I feel still. Okay, and I hope that you feel that way, because we are awakened, right? And we'll be safe regardless. We will know what to do and how to maneuver. Okay, so getting on to the topic, let's ask yourself these questions, okay? And I feel like all of us will probably identify with some of these things, okay? Isn't that cute? I found that little cute emoji. Oh, yes, that's me. So, do you feel oversensitive sometimes? Okay, do you feel oversensitive when people say stuff or people do stuff? Sometimes you might feel like this uncontrollable blushing, like you don't want to, you don't want to, but it happens anyways. Like, you know, that blushing, or maybe you feel unappreciated sometimes. Okay, maybe in the subconscious you feel a little bit used and abused, feel rejected, feel insignificant and inadequate, like what you give to the world doesn't really matter, doesn't make a difference. You feel unimportant. And you worry about what other people think a lot. I hope they're happy. I hope they like me. I hope that was right. You don't feel respected, okay? Or you don't have the last word. So in arguments or in situations, like, you know, you don't get to win or say anything that you wanted. Or you feel like people take advantage of you, okay? Do you feel like you might be suspicious of people, like you can't trust people, or you can't be your true self? So if you can't be your goofy, silly, funny self, yeah, you just have to, you know, hold back. So it's like a fear of self-disclosure. You can't really share your thoughts and your feelings without being worried, whatever people think. Do you feel like you're unclear on who you are? Who am I? What am I meant to do here? You know, what's my role? What's my place? Okay. Maybe you need to be a perfectionist. You feel this urge to be a perfectionist. Okay. Make things right, make it perfect. And you feel uncomfortable if it's not perfect. Okay. Do you feel like you're afraid to have an opinion about things? You don't want to come across as opinionated person, right? Then they'll be like, oh, look at you, right? Do you feel embarrassed sometimes, right? Do you feel like you fear you might look stupid or you might look inappropriate in situations? You might say the dumb things, okay? Do you feel like you might stand out? And you really don't want to be the center of attention, okay? I know that's my thing. You worry about failure or making mistakes. Okay, do you guys identify with any of these things? I see thumbs up here for some of them. Okay, maybe you feel like you're an outsider, and that maybe you're different a little bit, or you're left out. Everyone else is kind of this way, but no, not me. Okay, and you want to be a wallflower, maybe. You want to shrink, like it's shrinking violet. Okay, or you want to shut people out, or you want to be withdrawn a little bit, just kind of away where it's safe. Maybe trying to hide or be inconspicuous. And then sometimes you feel like, you know, you're afraid to be dishonorable. Okay, so any of these feelings that you have to any degree might be a sign of shame. Okay, like Brene Brown, she studies shame, right? And sometimes people feel like they can't get out of shame, they can't get away from shame, and they keep coming back to the same shame problems. Like they messed up once upon a time, and it just, they can't live it down. Okay. Any thoughts, comments?
You're probably going to cover this, so I won't go into it, but I think understanding the difference between guilt and shame is important.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks, Debbie.
Thanks, Debbie.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that, but I'm thanking you for pointing that out so people think about that. What's the difference between the guilt and the shame? Okay. Okay, so what is shame? Shame is defined as a feeling of embarrassment or humiliation that arises from the relation to the perception of having done something dishonorable, immoral, or improper. Like you messed up somehow, and oh gosh, you know, it's that feeling. Okay, so there's a natural feeling that we have, right? And it, you know, is like a divine discontent, like a natural guilt that maybe it wasn't in alignment with who I am. And there's a shame of the society, what society disapproves of. And it doesn't necessarily mean God disapproves of it. Okay, so there's a difference. When you experience a divine discontent, it's an invitation to change and realign yourself. But if it's this worldly embarrassment and shame, that can be very damaging because it's self-infliction, right? And it holds you back. So shame is used in the past. Shame and fear is used in the past to compel people to adhere to cultural norms, follow laws, and behave in a way that makes them fit into accepted society. So it's defined by society, defined by culture. And maybe different culture defines things differently. But that's how people are forced to get in line. Okay, and that's not always good. Some of it might be, and some of it might not be. So that's why we're trying to awaken ourselves and question things and say, wait, that one's okay, but this, no, this is just silly. Okay, so we've got to ask those questions. Okay, it's used to, you know, help people feel like they belong. Okay, to be accepted and allow themselves to be shamed, you know, to change behavior. Okay, it's a little bit of a manipulation. You want to comment? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Nikki?
I just wanted to say that sometimes when you have these rules and regulations and things like that, some people might look at it as trying to control you or trying to repress you, but actually, especially if you look in the Bible, some people think, oh, God was just trying to control or repress his people with the rules and regulations and this and that. But then and you can see in so many examples when people do whatever they want to do and there's chaos and destruction, and they kind of like, oh, they kind of go back. They have to hang their head and go back, and that turning point, shame can be a really good turning point where you just evaluate your life and go, hang on, I don't actually want to be doing this. I want more joy, more happiness, not chaos. And then you follow the rules or you follow whatever, and sometimes you get more happiness.
Yeah. So there's that difference, isn't there? There's that divine sense of discontent that maybe we can call shame, that compels us to change in a correct way, staying in alignment with God, and like the I guess guidelines of God, right? And that keeps you happy, right? So if you kind of follow universal laws, you have all this freedom in between, so you don't go to the extremes and be crazy. But there's also the human-made things that are not that important to our divine happiness, that we still hold on to. So if God says, I forgive you, you're fine, you know, you're cleansed, but the society says, well, remember when, you know, you're the worst, stuck, right? And then you hold yourself back forever and ever instead of like forgiving and letting yourself go, you know, go forward. So the shame is a fear emotion and feeling, right? And it's not faith, okay? Because with God says, hey, sorry, you messed up. You know, yes, you do feel bad because it's a natural consequence. Just remember not to do that again. All right, and it passes. And for those of you who've been around and listened to me a lot, I always talk about the refining fire. Okay, you get this acute refining fire, it's the opportunity to change. You change and then you're better. Okay, that, you know, on the physical level, that's like acute inflammation, right? But for people who stay in that negative space, right, they experience that chronic inflammation, that continual burning and suffering, and it's really unnecessary, and it's not what God necessarily wants for us. So that's what we want to do. We want to distinguish that, see the difference there, right, and then move forward from there. Yeah, so thank you so much, Nikita, for that. So let's talk about why shame is bad emotionally and spiritually, okay? Like I said, there's that good side of it where it compels us to be different and change behaviors because of it's the divine discontent. But when it's a society shame, this is when it's bad, okay? So in my experience and learning, it makes it difficult to distinguish between doing bad and being bad. So as a child, sometimes parents and guardians shame the children for doing naughty things, and the child does not know how to distinguish that bad behavior from, you know, him being bad or she being bad. So if you're doing something naughty and you're like, whoopsie, you know, you don't do it again, but it doesn't make you a bad person. Okay, sometimes I see children and I do sessions on children that are, you know, a little bit grown up, teenagers. They think that they're irredeemable. They think that that's it. They're bad now, and bad people do bad things, and they don't, you're not worthy, etc., etc. So we have to let go, forgive ourselves, and distinguish between our bad behavior and us still being good people. It leads to self-critical behaviors and habits. Okay, it leads to self-sabotage, self-betrayal, and a lot of insecurity. Okay, we kind of like say all these things and negative self-talk. It leads to a lack of confidence, focusing on feeling embarrassed, feeling small, and feeling ashamed. So you keep hyper-focus on that. I don't want to go, I do that. I don't want to be embarrassed. I don't want to. And then always feeling small when you're in the presence of other people. You're like, I'm small, I'm nothing. You know, it's just this constant behavior, okay, and feeling ashamed. Okay. You know, self-condemning, self-judging, and that holds you back. You're missing out, feeling like you're irredeemable. This is bad because that's not our job, you guys. You know, we cannot conclusively think that we're the worst and we're done. You know, there's no hope for us. But we're still in the middle of our journey. So I tell people constantly, give God back his job, right? We're not done yet. So just keep trying, keep moving forward, forgive yourself, and let that conclusion go, okay? So it causes us to be unforgiving and bitter. Years and years of bitterness. Raise your hand if you experience that. You don't allow yourself to be off the hook or live it down, okay? And it's hard for you to give yourself grace. And then it's hard for you to give others grace because that's who you are. You know, that person is naughty and bad too because once upon a time she did this, right? Yeah, because you don't let yourself off the hook. You constantly remind yourself of how naughty you've been. You're dirty, well, okay, or something. The shame It causes us to feel guilty and responsible for other people's happiness. And actually, we're so focused on that we're not responsible for our own happiness. It's so weird. So I tell people, mind your own happiness, right? Yeah. Okay. It causes us to not let ourselves be true to ourselves. You know, you don't want, you don't allow yourself to be unique. It doesn't let you be you, right? And it holds you back from needing to, from rebelling against unsupportive traditions. So things that seem right or are not right, and you feel it, you hold yourself back from making that change or speaking up because you're really worried about what everyone else thinks. You're really worried about the criticism or whatever, and you don't change as needed. Okay, it stops you from being fully obedient to God. So you lack loyalty to God because you care so much about what everyone else thinks. Okay, so if God wants you to do certain things, just do it. Even if people might not understand, even if people criticize or respond in a way that they don't understand, that doesn't matter. You just do what you need to do, right? Because you're not worried about that shame. But that shame is so big and ugly that it looms over you and that kind of blinds you to fully being obedient to God. Okay, does that make sense? Okay. And then it makes you feel bad if you ever feel at peace or happy. So if you're resting, do you feel guilty? If you're playing, if you're enjoying blessings, do you feel bad? Okay. Sometimes you're like, okay, I don't want to tell people how good it is, or I don't want to experience it too much. Now I know I've been there. Okay, it leads us to be passive and always needing others to validate. Okay, needing to be told what to do. What do you guys think? Can you relate to any of these things?
I can, Jade, because
Yeah.
the more that I've been doing like the courses, your courses, and working on myself, I find when I first started, I found it really hard to be compassionate with people.
Yeah.
But the more that I'm working on myself and letting go of this, I actually find compassion being so much easier.
Yeah.
And I find I love people more.
Yeah.
The more, and it's like, oh wow,
Yeah.
because I'm loving me, so I can really love others and understand where they are in the moment and not judge.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get you. I have a few people who I could label as haters, right? But I have love for them. I get that they're hurting, right? And it feels good. It feels good that you know, we're so able to love easier, right? So liberating. We want to be more like Christ, and this is really good when we recognize shame is just a lot of lies. You know, we can get rid of it, and then we experience something different. Anyone else want to comment here on this? You know, this negative shame, this you know, affecting us on an emotional and spiritual level.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Brene Brown says the same thing, and it really inspired me to understand the difference between guilt and shame. Guilt is like what I did wasn't good or it was bad, but I can change. And shame is I am bad. And so we anticipate ourselves, you know, continuing to do something wrong, or we anticipate others thinking that we're doing, you know, things that are bad. So
Yeah, thank you, Debbie.
yeah.
When people do energy sessions with me and it goes down to the root causes of things, of the feelings that they have, anger or frustration or whatever, I ask them questions like, what were you thinking? What do you believe? And it always goes back to, I'm unworthy and I am not good enough. It's because we sit in that shame. Okay. And it always goes back to that. Like Debbie said, the guilt, maybe you messed up. Okay, fine. But change. But the shame is, this is it, the end. You're stuck. And that's why it's like, oh, it's so hard for me to think differently. It's really hard for me to like myself or whatever, because we buy into all the aspects of shame. Okay. So let's talk about why shame is bad physically. What does it do to our body? Okay. So it leads us to physically to need people to physically validate us, even if it's negative. So people allow themselves to be physically abused, okay, amused, right? And it's negative, but they still need it anyways, okay? It causes us to lack willpower, ambition, and inability to take actions. So if you are not able to be self-motivated, to do stuff, you're always, procrastinating and, I can't do stuff and I wanna, but I can't, it's probably goes back to more shame as a child, okay? Because if you were free and safe to make mistakes, you would be out there doing stuff already, without worrying about people laughing or criticizing or whatever, okay? You hanging your head low, you're not standing straight and tall. Sometimes you attract dramas, right? And we play the victim role, okay? So that's what it does to us on that physical level, right? So how much here? Lower body issues, okay? A lot of the lower body issues. So constipation, lower back issues, sciatica, okay, you're not feeling safe, you're not supporting yourself, okay? Leg issues, can't move forward, feeling nervous. Knee issues, groin, hips, ankle, rectal and anal problems. So whatever health problem, all the labels, okay? I'm just giving you the kind of area where things might be an issue. Frequent illness, it can be deficiencies, and when your body's not absorbing nutrients properly, or excessive something, whatever. Okay, neglect of self and self-care, weight issues, overweight, underweight, poor discipline and boundaries. Okay, you see there that we can't stand up for ourselves, and we can't, take the actions we know we need to do. It's just, because I'm not enough. Okay, depression, passiveness, lethargy, so tiredness, okay, chronic disorganization, right, fear of change, overeating, craving unhealthy foods, sexual organ issues, hormone imbalance, hot flashes, I'm hot and I'm cold, I'm in and I'm out, yes, and I'm being obedient and now and then I'm not, okay. Poor social skills, getting into fights with people, each other, friends, family, siblings, inward thinking, okay, how about me? And lots and lots of misunderstanding. You don't know why you're surrounded by dramas all the time. Guess what? It's not necessary. Yeah, but we have that. And sometimes the root of it is just holding on to shame. And we listen to Satan telling us that you're no good. And I tell people those three voices in your head, God's voice, the devil's voice, and your voice gets to choose. And sometimes we choose the negative things and we think that that's our voice. We adopt it as ours. Well, I think this about myself. Really? Is that what you really think? Right? What would God think? Would he ever, speak disparagingly about you, to you? Would he ever be limiting and saying, no, you can't, when He sent you here to succeed, when He's confident in you. Yeah. So when you think about it for a moment, it's just say, oh, well, that doesn't make sense. Of course, God thinks I can do it. God's confident in me. God loves me. God supports me. Well, then why am I thinking all these negative thoughts? I'm thinking that's my thoughts. So to me, when I help people with health concerns, it's not terribly difficult or complicated. Okay. Satan has the same old lies over and over and over again. Okay. And we have the same solutions, which is very simple. Okay. So the other thing too is just fears. The fears leading to addictions, depression. I've mentioned that earlier. Lack of trust in people, lack of trust in the process, lack of trust in God, lack of trust in self, paranoia, nervousness, aggression, dominant behavior, kind of controlling, addiction to adrenaline activities or hoarding, material fixation. Sometimes people need to collect stuff, or they, are attached to certain things. Lack of passion. So Roz was talking about that. Not able to be compassionate enough. Denial of pleasure, feeling guarded, self-deprivation. So you're not letting yourself sleep enough. You're not letting yourself eat healthy foods. Oh no, too expensive. Oh no, too much work. Or my body doesn't even like healthy foods. It rejects it. Not letting yourself rest or have pleasure or even have money. You subconsciously reject money, push money away, and push good relationships away. Okay, and not speaking up for yourself, for truth, and unable to be spontaneous and just be fun. So these are some, not all, of the physical things that kind of maybe is a clue that we're holding on to this negative shame energy. Anyone want to comment? What do you think? Do you have friends and family that you want to help, awaken them, getting them out of that shame space?
I want to help myself. I don't have a lot of these, but I have a few, and it's like, what's happening there? So, yeah.
Yeah, so we're listening to that tape recording, really, of Satan saying, no, no, don't do that, bad, and but you've seen yourself change, right? You've seen you guys in your life, you're more organized, you take care of yourself better now, right? You do through things. Yeah. So sometimes we go, oh, I got to fix this depression. Oh, I got to fix this organization problem, or whatever it is. Maybe at the bottom of all of that is the shame. And if we get rid of the shame, suddenly all of these things kind of like come together. So it's not as hard as we think. So it's sort of like pulling the rug out and all of the stuff comes with it instead of like one thing off at a time. Yeah, I get excited because I feel like this is going to liberate a lot of people. Yeah.
Sure.
I've got a lot of friends that have all these problems. I don't know why. My ovaries got issues, and then I know my periods are, maybe if we just deal with the shame, things will balance up. So we don't have to kind of figure out one little itty bitty thing at a time. Okay. Anyone else want to comment?
I love the way that you've put this out here, Jade. It's just so clear, and it just makes you go back and go, oh my gosh. Because when you're thinking in your head all the time, it sort of builds up, and the shame is there. But when you look at it like this, you can see it so clearly and go, oh my gosh, this is amazing. How easy can we fix this?
Yeah. Anyone else want to comment or say anything? Notice anything?
It's a lot of overthinking. It's a lot of overthinking. And if we can just be the observer, you know,
Yes.
and yeah, see what's truth and what's not, and just, yeah, be really present in each moment, then that is going to help a lot. This is a lot of overthinking.
Yep, exactly. That's Satan's way, right? Overcomplicate things. So you think, I'm gonna take forever, right? I'm the worst. I've got so many problems, more than everyone in the world. So I'm a piece of work, you know, laundry list of problems. So I'll get there later, guys. You just go ahead. Really, when I look at the Bible and I see how Christ heals people, he preaches truth and people heal fast. Yeah. And I feel like this is liberating and we can do this. We can help each other in this way. Yep. Okay. So how do we resolve it? The idea is just to reprogram ourselves. Okay. And then just reject that shame, because it's sort of like a lesson, a unit that Satan says, well, let's throw shame at this person. So it's like a blanket problem, and it creates lots of little problems here, and then they don't see the real problem underneath all of it. They get so distracted by all of these things on the surface, right? And they never get to the end of it all, right? So the idea is to reprogram us at the core, and that's what I want to encourage everybody. So one, we get to choose. It's a choice. Choose to awaken. Choose to remember who you are. Choose to remember that you are a child of God and what all that means, being a child of God. So it can take forever, but you guys can ponder over that. I'm a child of God. What does that mean? Right? And then, really build that testimony. And then two, make a choice. Make a choice to let go of Satan's shame lies. Okay, so as soon as I recognize that I'm getting down on myself and I'm holding myself back and I can't breathe, I say, wait, stop. Oh my goodness, no, rebuke. So I just had a chat with my friend Jen this week, and she says, Jay, no more asthma. I'm camping and I'm not even bringing my inhaler, because she's like, I'm not holding myself back anymore. I'm going to breathe life fully. And she said, I've been surrounded by trees and all of those allergens, nothing, no problems. And I'm all, that's me. That was me about 11 years ago. Okay, so that was my personal experience. I just chose. That's it. I'm not going to listen to you anymore. I recognize your voice. It's not my own. Okay, and then we take back our power. Okay, and we live life more fully. Okay, we will forgive ourselves, forgive others, forgive the universe, and release. Release the past. Okay, so that's a great place to start. Okay, and then choose to be present today, here in this space. I'm not doing something bad. I'm not doing something dishonorable right here. So why do I still feel that, shame? That's silly, right? So being present and choose to step into the divine role. Okay, so this is really who I am. And I tell people when I do sessions with them, I said, that negative feeling, that negative thought, that's not you. That's not you. Right? Don't buy into that. Don't accept that as part of your identity. Let that go. Okay, so feel equal, feel important, feel free, feel liberated, right? Feel gratitude, feel powerful, and feel loved. And for us, we reject those things because we're like, oh no, I don't deserve. But no, just bring it all back in. Feel it all, right? And when you feel equal and you feel important, you stand different, you look different, everything about you has changed. I recently had, actually it was today, my sister-in-law, she's like, Jade, how come your skin is so nice? And I said, you know what, a long time ago it was dry and yucky, eczema-like. And I said, I started taking care of myself and I started taking supplements and, don't need the lotions and stuff as much anymore. And she's like, wow, just that? And I said, yeah, it's just a choice to step into that divine role. So it's not that hard. right? If your little voice in your head saying, oh, you know, good for you, good for her, not me, it's going to be so hard. Stop it, rebuke it now. This present moment, you say, I choose to step into my divine role. Of course, I'm divine. I am a child of God, of course. And it's going to be great and easy. I'm equal, I'm important, I'm free, I'm grateful for this opportunity, I'm powerful, and I'm loved. You can keep on saying more of those good stuff. All right. So the next one is create a life of dignity. So instead of focusing on the shame, I don't want to have shame, I want to get rid of shame, focus on dignity, because dignity is like the opposite of shame. Okay, if you have dignity, then you have civility, right? How you speak, how you hold yourself is going to be different. Okay, you have standards. So you sit down and identify the standards that you want to live. And people who have clear standards have a higher existence, okay? You have filters, right? You are selective in what you do, who you do, how you spend your time. You know, we're talking about recognizing your avatars, people who you are meant to serve, meant to be part of the community, okay? We're not here to serve everyone, really. Okay, we're designed in a certain way, we have a certain purpose. So if you understand your filters, understand your avatar, you'll be able to have filters. So I have people saying, well, why don't you just teach everybody, you know? And I said, I that's not my calling. And well, what do you charge people? And I said, my people will pay this much money because they will value it. That's the filter. Okay, just not any people will be able to come into that space. So there's a couple of filters. So if people want to talk to me, they need to set an appointment. You see what I mean? My person, my avatar, will take the time to set up the time because she, mostly she, is organized too. She has dignity too, right? She wants to, you know, have a happy life. So she's not going to be like disorganized, okay? When you have dignity, you have personal creeds. This is how I want to live my life. You know, this is my personal rules. And then I have these dreams. When you have shame, you don't let yourself dream big. You're so afraid. Okay. You make up so many new things to be afraid of every day. But when you have dignity, you remove the fears and excuses until there's like none that you really can recognize. People who have dignity, they have good habits, or they practice good lifestyle so they can get into good habits. All right. So I was talking to a lady, I did a session. I said, do you have like morning devotional to keep yourself focused on your path? Do you have a community of people? And she's like, no, I don't have any of that. Okay. And I said, choose now to let go of that shame and choose now to have a life of dignity. What do you guys think about that word? You've thought about that about yourself?
Yeah. So I recently have been working on respect, and I didn't realize for a long time that I disrespected myself. And so dignity to me sounds like similar, but not the same. And that's something that I've been working on. But then as I work on it, I teach it to my children. And as I teach it to my children, you know what I mean, I really see them stepping into that and respecting each other and having all these other like divine respectable qualities that I'm trying to create within myself. I see them stepping into those also, and it's really, you know, who you surround yourself with will step up as you step up.
Yeah, I love that. That's a very important word, respect. Thank you so much, Ashley. Anyone else? Any other thoughts?
Yeah, I have a thought, Jade.
Stephanie?
As I was listening to you talk, I was thinking how that dignity has played out in my life. And in the past, you know, I'm a long time ago, you know, it's been a few years. I had those feelings of, you know, I'm not good enough and I can't do this and who would want to listen to me, and, you know, all of the things. And now I have come to really understand that when I give myself that respect and that dignity, then like attracts like. And I attract those that are willing to pay that price, if you will, whether it's monetary, whether it's time, whether it's respect, whether it's, you know, all of the things. And it all comes down to how I feel about myself. And then when I create how, you know, the love for myself, and that that I am a child of God. I have his DNA running through my body. I truly am a child of God, and I deserve all the things. I deserve all the things. And when I finally got that, then that's what I create in my circle of friends and those clients that come to me and those that seek out my wisdom. And I say that most humbly, you know, so I really resonate with all of the things that you said. That was just perfect.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stephanie. I feel that same way. I went through that journey before. We need to just declare to ourselves, yes, I'm worthy of a higher existence. And so I want to attract caring and capable people. I want to attract successful people. So I went to a retreat recently, and a lady said to me, well, you know, I just don't know if I can sit down and watch videos and take the time to learn stuff. Can you like just come and teach me stuff? You know, and I was thinking to myself, well, I actually have these kind of rules, you know, in my head. I just thought of it. I didn't tell her, but I figured that if we want the high quality people around us, I have to identify who it is. And my people, they take the time to do personal development. They make it happen. They're like, what? Videos online? What, 2 hours a week, 3 hours? Okay, I'll make it happen. I'll sit down and I'll learn what I need to learn because I feel inspired to do this, right? I don't make any excuses and I say, oh, because of kids, because no. Like my people will do it. I don't need to make it, you know, even simpler and spoon feed them, right? I just feel like my people will know exactly how to do things. So lots of respect, lots of self-dignity there, right? So you know what? Like, yes, Debbie Gordon, I love that you know, the things that you've learned recently, and I see the changes. So congratulations, well done in that way. Yes, and for me, it's very important now that I know how to use essential oils well, because God taught me. I get excited because I know it can help my friends and family rewire their minds and body. You know, we spent this lifetime swimming in shame, right? And so we need to spend at least a little bit of time to rewire ourselves. And suddenly when we do that, you know, it's like pulling that rug out, just everything goes with it. Yay, right? And it's not as difficult. So I'll share with you some of the essential oils that I found that helps. And, you know, there's so much more, right? And then, of course, surround yourself in a supportive community. You know, hang out with like-minded people because you've already identified your ideal people who have standards, who have respect. You know, you want to just keep on surrounding yourself with those people so that you're not alone and separate, and then, you know, exposing yourself to Satan's lies again. Okay, so when we come together, we remind ourselves, we stay strong. And that's why I encourage all of you to, you know, invite your friends, come to these calls and meetings, share each other's ideas, remind each other what we want. We want to awaken, we want to be supportive, we want to turn around and serve the world. Okay, I mean, even if it means just your neighbor or your friend, that's the world as well. Yeah. So so these are the 6 things that I've come up with. It's not difficult, guys. It really isn't, right? It's not a mystery, right? We just need to use our power to make choices. And once we make choices, sort of like switches in our minds, right? Suddenly, all that goes away, and then we rebuild this new self-talk. Any thoughts, any comments?
Okay. I really don't love the word deserve. And I was just sitting here thinking about that, like, why don't I like that? I don't like that word. And so what is the substitute for me? And for me, it's a divine right as a child of God. So our peace and power and joy that we're seeking isn't something that we deserve. I just think it's a byproduct of being wholly connected to God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that clarity. Yeah, because we really don't, our efforts don't earn us those things.
Yeah.
Right. And we're not that entitled, right? We are children of God, and it's our right to have those things. He wants us to have them. Yeah. And we receive with gratitude. Yeah. Yeah. So thanks for that clarity. Very good. All right. So let's look at the oil for dignity. So I was just praying about this. What are some of the oils that I would use to help me rely on God's divine powers and protection? So I felt frankincense and myrrh, okay, because myrrh says, Mother Earth provides for you. You have that right. You have that right to be loved, provided for, protected. Okay, so for those people who are still holding their parents or their guardians responsible, for that love, for that protection and stuff, if they didn't have it when they were younger, release that now. Because this love and this protection actually comes from God. And even if you have the best parents in the world, right, your parents still can't fulfill the deep need, okay, that you have for that love and protection. Okay, that must come from God. Okay, and then whatever your parents can do, that's great. That's extra, right? So that's myrrh and frankincense, God and Mother Earth and Manuka, guys. Manuka is like super powerful at helping you have a healthy shield, like clarity. Just stay in your space, making sure that you operate in your zone of genius and not get distracted and try to please everyone else. Okay, everyone else is responsible for their own happiness. Arbor Vitae is divine grace. So, okay, you may mess up, you may feel guilty, but you can change, right? Because grace is always there. You have this infinite do-overs when you keep connecting to God. So don't let yourself feel stuck. And that's what Arbor Vitae is for me. Keep going, keep going, keep going, right? If for you, you might have to practice this thing several times, but that's okay. Keep going, right? Don't ever let yourself feel stuck. And, in the Bible, they call it damned, right? And that's not healthy. You'll feel it because you don't want to breathe. You hold your breath. You hold yourself back. Okay, so when you feel like you're holding yourself back, you've got oils like Arbor Vitae to say, no, breathe, move forward, push through, okay? And sandalwood. Sandalwood is this clarity. Like you think you can't move forward, but you can. There's paths, there's ways, okay? So sandalwood helps with that clarity because your connection to God is strong. Okay, so the oil of overcoming, the oils that help you overcome and have strength, hope. It's a fantastic blend, okay, for this purpose, to overcome. When you think you're stuck, when you think you can't because you're sitting in shame, no, you can move forward. Okay, we have black spruce. Black spruce is fantastic for that. These trees are massive and they grow in the coldest climates, and they grow straight and tall, and they point to God. Okay, and midnight forest, it's like a party of black spruce and its cousins, right? So midnight forest is, you know, if you read about it as well, you know, wonderful oil, because you're not alone. You can keep moving forward. You've got a community of very powerful, strong, successful energies, people around you to help you move forward. So never listen to the lies. You know, that shame holds you down, holds you back, and stops you from moving forward, makes you want to hide. No, 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 no. That's not healthy, right? We're not designed for that, okay? Oils that help you discover your true self. Okay, copaiba, black pepper, melissa, and Roman chamomile. Okay, copaiba and black pepper is the oil of unveiling. It kind of like says, strip all the lies that you've been telling yourself and just see yourself really for who you are. Melissa says, shine the light onto you, right? Get rid of all the darkness inside of you, and so you can see yourself better. Roman chamomile says, can you just be still for a moment and look, there's your real self. Just see, really, this is your purpose in life. Just be still enough to just see yourself. Okay, and when you do that, guys, it's phenomenal. It's liberating, and you feel so humbled, but that at the same time, you're inspired to take action, and you're brave, and you just want to go, wow, you know, help the world, just speak up and do what you need to do, and not worry so much about what everyone else is thinking, because what Heavenly Father thinks about you is the most important. Okay. All right, the oil of personal power. So if we have sat in that place of shame for so long, we gave away a lot of our power, okay? So think of it as like your bucket, you've like splashed the power, the water out, okay? And now you just need to fill it up again, right? And that's your power, you keep your power. All right, oils to help you do that: fennel, cassia, cinnamon, patchouli, nootka, and bergamot, okay? Nootka, there's people in Canada, that's the oil that you can purchase. Right, so fennel, right, owning your responsibility for your happiness, not other people's happiness. Cassia is, you know, accepting yourself. Cinnamon is, you know, seeing the sweetness of you, right? Patchouli, feel your heart. Allow yourself to feel stuff, okay? Bergamot can do. Now, Ashley, go ahead.
So can I add geranium to that one? That?
Yep.
So that one was massive for me, because I drowned in shame. Like I hung out with shame for a long time, and geranium was so good and even beautiful.
Yeah.
So good for me, for the personal power one, because when you actually hurt yourself, not necessarily like I was like suicidal kind of thing, but even overeating is self-abuse. You know what I mean? And so things like that, like whenever you have abused yourself and you don't even realize that you're doing it,
yep.
To me, like those oils were very powerful for me also.
Yeah, yeah, that's the lack of awakeness, right? Yeah, I love it. And by the way, nootka is the oil of elegant, graceful elegance, like that dignity. This is who I am. This is how I live. You know, I'm not going to be this, you know, nobody like, you know, not even aware that I'm abusing myself by eating junk. Yeah. Okay. So joy and divine love and self-love. Okay, so if we stay focused on that, So like Ashley said, geranium, loving and trusting yourself. God is confident in you, so be confident in his confidence, right? He has put success mechanisms inside of you. That heart compass, it can do its job if you let it. Okay, feel and allow yourself to feel passion. You know what you need to do. Fully step into that, okay? Jasmine, feel the joy of who you are, feel the pleasure. Rose, allow yourself to be loved and protected, okay? And when your heart is filled with love, like Rosie was talking about, we just love people so easily, okay? And you know, that is just going to spread, okay? So that's the joy of divine love and self-love. Okay, the dignity, helps us have more love. All right. And the other thing is be present and grounded. So what shame does is it takes you back in the past, right? And says, remember when you sucked, right? Look at all the things you've done that's messed up. But here you say, no, I am here in the present. I am a different person, right? I am doing what I need to be doing. So balance, vetiver, spikenard, those oils keep you present. Focus on the person that's in front of you. Focus on the community that you're serving today. Don't waste your energy looking backwards and wallowing and swimming and, like Ashley, drowning in that shame. Okay. Vetiver, centering, spikenard, being grateful for trials, for whatever it is that you're experiencing today. Balance, being grounded. Yep. So I know that there's a lot of oils here. You don't have to use all of them. They're just suggestions. Whatever you have, you can start using them. Okay. And, focus on these things, staying focused on dignity, on power, on overcoming, on being true to yourself. Okay. That personal power, not blaming, holding that space for you to be able to create divine love, being present. Any thoughts? Anything you want to share, guys?
So on being present, and so I realized for myself, because whenever you are a person that lives in shame, you teach shame. And so when you teach shame, and then you're trying to not teach shame, like to unteach shame, if you will. So shame is kind of quick and easy. You know what I mean? If you can make somebody ashamed of themselves, it's easy to control them and get them to stop doing whatever it is that you're wanting them to do. Like if you're a parent. And so honestly, I've had to learn how to like parent better. And I realized that I wasn't teaching my children lessons. I was just shaming them into correct behavior. And so like today, my almost 4-year-old, we were doing something and he got a little Play-Doh toy. And and we were in the middle of something and I said, okay, we'll have that. I'll open this for you after we're done having dinner. And he went upstairs and he came back down and he told me that a ghost opened his Play-Doh toy. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, I said, Sam, I need for you to tell me the truth because I love you very much. And we're always honest, whether something's true or not. And it's important to be brave and to be honest. And we talked about some other things, but before I would have been, a different side of that, like, I can't believe you would like, how dare you lie to, you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing, shame, you know what I mean? And so honestly, when you shame people, it's quick and easy, but it's not correct, you know what I mean? And so sometimes as we are learning how to, as we're stepping out of shame, we're realizing that there's a lot of things that, that just kind of come to your awareness that need to change with you.
Mm.
But because you are a person that has self-respect and you know who you are, that means you know who everybody else is too. Because if you know that you are an awesome, powerful daughter of God, you know that all the other gals around you are too. And so because you respect you, you respect them, and you respect them because you're God. You are not God, because you are created by God. You're a manifestation of God's love. You are wonderful, and so everybody else is.
Yeah, and it takes practice, right? So I'm really glad that you shared that, Ashley. You know, as when we choose that direction, we'll just have lots of opportunities to practice, yeah, and apply this new approach. So I just want to thank you guys for joining me today. I'm going to stop the recording and we can have a conversation off the record. All right.